I'll take emasculating science insults for 400. Oh, University Elementary School, where Timmy can study pre-law. Ironically, this kid has no clue.
Chris likes to prove things, just as scientists do. His new magnifying glass will help him.
There, he just proved it's Tuesday.
Because a magnifying glass makes everything look bigger, it can help us find out many things.
It can help us read Smurf graffiti or give Stuart Little a wedgie.
Chris has been told that a shirt is made of small threads. With his magnifying glass, he proves this is true. He can easily see the small threads that make up his shirt.
This stunning scientific breakthrough rocks Chris's long-held presupposition that his shirt was made of steel and unicorn blood.
Chris looks at the magnifying glass itself. The piece of glass inside the metal frame is called a lens. He notices that the lens curves.
This is, of course, quite unlike the surface of the Earth, which everyone knows to be flat, according to scientific principle.
Chris moves his magnifying glass back and forth to find the place where he can see clearly. This is called focusing.
It's also called Ant Hill Armageddon. The fire Chris starts will take 3 days to contain.
Chris explores the grass and finds a grasshopper.
He doesn't know it yet, but he's about to make a great personal sacrifice in the name of science.
He has read that grasshoppers have 6 legs. Is this true?
There's only one way to find out, and it involves tweezers.
Yes, he can count the grasshopper's 6 legs, 3 on each side of its body.
Hey, kid, my eyes are up here. Take a picture, it'll last longer.
He discovers 2 long feelers on the grasshopper's head.
All right, take a look if you must, but don't stare at my spiracles, okay?
Just below the feelers, Chris sees large dark spots. They are the grasshopper's eyes.
All right, is that it? You done? I gotta go. I got an audition for a Peter Graves movie.
Chris sees a feather dropped by a bird.
Okay, let's discover its magical, secret, scientific wonders, I guess.
He finds that the feather parts stick together.
Prove it with a magnifying glass.
Through his magnifying glass, he finds out why.
It's cursed by a wizard.
One side of each part is fuzzier than the other. The fuzz hooks the parts together.
Whoa, whoa, English, please. Enough with the science jargon, man. I'm here to chew gum and see what things look like slightly more close up, and I'm all out of chewing gum. I've discovered potpourri.
This rock Chris has found crumbles easily.
That's not a rock. That's feta cheese.
What can he learn with his magnifying glass?
I'm going to go out on a limb and say what stuff looks like slightly more close up.
He discovers that the big rock is made of little pieces of rock.
Now the corporations that have been hiding this fact from the American public will have to deal with their Chris problem. He's made some powerful enemies. Let me just hoist myself up into this crotch here.
Chris looks at the bark of a tree.
Somebody has to, I guess.
The bark feels very rough.
Chris prescribes a fatty diet and a moisturizer.
With his magnifying glass, Chris discovers why.
It's chicken fried, extra crispy with secret spices.
The bark is bumpy in some places. In other places, it's cracked and broken.
Now, this is not really so much why as it is what, but I guess I'll let him have it. Jinkies, I guess?
There's a moth.
Oh no, Jamie Gum is nearby. Or worse, Richard Gere.
Chris has been told that moths and grasshoppers are alike in some ways. Is this true?
Oh, you tell me, buddy. One of us hops around in the dirt like an idiot. The other one soars majestically through the freaking sky on giant fuzzy wings.
Chris finds that the moth, like the grasshopper, has two feelers on its head. Like the grasshopper, the moth has large, dark eyes below each feeler.
Oh, sure. Well, if that's your basis of comparison, I mean, we're both carbon-based life forms, too. I guess we're exactly the same.
Chris sees the newspaper being delivered.
Prove it with a magnifying glass.
What can his magnifying glass help him discover about a newspaper?
He can read the fine print on an ad for water heaters.
A picture in a newspaper looks like this.
Oh, I love the engagement announcements. They look so happy and hopeful.
But through his magnifying glass, Chris finds that it is really made of hundreds of tiny dots.
That man's not real. He's just pixels and math.
He discovers that where the dots are larger, the picture looks darker.
And where the dots are dog-shaped, the picture looks like a dog. Anyway, moving on.
But now it's time to wash for lunch.
Oh, man, if we got to look at close-up Lunchables, I'm changing the channel.
Chris rubs his hands together to make soap bubbles.
Find someone who looks at you the way Chris looks at soap bubbles.
Soap bubbles, he's been told, are made of air mixed with soapy water.
Blasphemy!
Is this true?
Prove it with an M16. I mean, magnifying glass. Chris, buddy, stay on task.
Chris can see right through the bubbles.
They're really bad liars, and he's on to their shenanigans.
The bubbles are like tiny balloons filled with air.
Oh, nice Star Trek explanation, thanks. You really made that complicated scientific concept accessible, even to a layperson like me.
The magnifying glass also helps Chris see the tiny ridges on the tips of his fingers.
They lock in flavor and give Chris a satisfying crunch.
He knows that these ridges make his fingerprints.
And soon the sheriff's office will know it too.
Chris has heard that his fingerprints are different from everyone else's. Is this true? With his magnifying glass, Chris may be able to find out for himself.
He'll just need the cooperation of the other 7 billion people on the planet.
In his brother's room, there are pictures of magnifying lenses.
Oh, so this is a hereditary disorder.
This picture looks just like Chris's magnifying glass.
And that's Chris's lucky kale leaf.
The lens is curved out on both sides.
And painted opaque red in the traditional style.
This is a picture of a microscope. It has a tube with 2 lenses at the top and 1 at the bottom.
When we look at a microscope under a magnifying glass, well, look out!
A microscope is used to make very, very small things look big enough to see.
You can use it to see the guacamole on your Chipotle bowl.
This is a telescope. It also has 2 lenses.
It's for proving your neighbor's underwear exists.
A telescope is used to look at things that are far away. Through it, the moon and the stars look bigger.
The sun looks blindier.
A curved lens, like the one in Chris's magnifying glass, may be used in many ways to make things look bigger.
That's the established premise. Anyway, this blows. I'm going to watch Tiny Toons.
While Chris is having his lunch, he sees something interesting. His own glass of water makes the letters on the box look bigger. The curved glass, filled with water, acts as a magnifying lens.
Now he can read the fine print that says the pie recipe may cause elephantitis. Later that same century.
By using a magnifying glass, you can discover a whole new world around you. With it, you too can prove things for yourself.
Yes, prove for yourself that things exist and are sometimes bumpy or shiny or whatever. The end? Prove it with a magnifying glass! Thanks for watching. Did you know that Fun with Shorts is powered by its own Patreon campaign? It's true. For a small pledge, you can see every new video before the rest of the internet and get special patron-only riffs and other goodies. I didn't realize spiritual warfare extended to the realm of breakfast. Pledge just $1 or more, and you'll get a free movie riff download as my thanks to you. I think he just baptized a gopher. Click the Patreon logo to check it out, and I'll see you next time.